Well, we want to welcome our viewers on a special podcast. This is actually one of the first Grandparents Matter podcasts because when we were talking to Leonard, we said, hey, I think we didn't have the nonprofit one finished. So we're going to talk about his nonprofit and we're going to talk about the engagement and the empowering of our youth with our seniors. So we thought that this would be a good one to put the podcast under. So Leonard, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
All right, my name is Leonard Abbott, and I am the founder of One Change at a Time. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on bridging the gap between the youth and seniors. And how we do that is teaching young people how to care for older people through educational, recreational, and social activities. We'll take young folks, we'll train them up, teach them how to do these various programs, and we'll go into places where isolated seniors could be. So that could be a nursing home or senior community or assisted living, wherever the seniors are, so we can kind of bridge that gap and provide those intergenerational services.
Man, I tell you, it's needed out there. And so when we shared a little bit before we came on, I mean, I see it because I'm in here at Overture Barrett. And somebody told us the average age is 80 years old. And the worst thing you can have is isolation. And isolation creates depression. And depression's not good. So how did you come up with this? I mean, this is like so needed out there. What was the thought about coming up with this nonprofit?
To be honest with you, Pete, we actually were originally an organization that was focused on mentoring youth and doing various community service projects such as feeding the homeless and doing back to school drives. There was a nursing home up in New York. This is where I was, our program originally was established at in New Rochelle, New York. But there was a nursing home up there called Montefiore Schaefer Extended Care. And they heard about our organization. They heard about the volunteering we've been doing in the community. And they just wanted to, reach out to an organization to come, maybe one time and just spend some time with the seniors. Lo and behold, we got there. And when we got there, there was an instant connection that I noticed that the seniors had with the young people, and that there was an affection our leadership, had as well too. And so after that interaction, we actually, as a leadership team, came together and said, hey, let's put something together that can be a little more consistent in this facility. And so we developed a program called Bridging Generations. And from there, we just, really, started to, conduct a program on a bi-weekly basis. And what we really wanted to do, because, is to teach the young people how to take care of the seniors, because we did notice that there was a lot of seniors who were isolated. They weren't getting visitations like that. Maybe the level of care wasn't up to par, like how we may have thought it could have been. The social interactions were minimum, even when you talk about the social interactions between the actual seniors themselves. And so we just wanted to put something together to, be a benefit to both generations.
Oh, living here, I see it every day that the grandkids will come. We have certain hours, like 3 to 5. It's like when kids are in the room, it's magical because, nothing better than being around youth when you're getting a little older. And so what is like teaching kids to really engage with our seniors? When you put these programs together, what are you teaching them? What give our viewers an idea of, like, do you have certain skills that you're teaching them to really engage? Give our viewers an idea of that.
Yeah. So the first thing we're teaching them is a level of compassion. We teach them an understanding of what intergenerational programs are. So we basically have been able to gather information from Generations United, which is an organization that provides a lot of content and training material on intergenerational programming. And then, so we utilize that. We also too created our own curriculum in just terms of teaching them how to engage with seniors, teaching them how to engage with someone who may be in a wheelchair, care, or what to do, or what limitations they may have from a mobility standpoint when we're
Hmm.
doing certain exercises, or an individual who has dementia, and how to handle that. So we teach them some of those basic things first, and then it goes into them shadowing our program director through various components of the program, which is music and memory, trivia, arts and crafts, therapeutic, recreational, and various social activities. We also utilize digital tablets, and we teach seniors how to interact through those tablet devices by utilizing applications that incorporate the educational, recreational components, and also too for some of those who don't have cell phones or don't have digital devices. We also use those tablets to allow them to connect virtually with their loved ones and virtually with our program as well. If they're not able to physically be present, maybe they're in a room because they're recovering from, a disability or injury, or they may have just be a little sick and be a little down and don't want to be around a large crowd. We have identified a few seniors that will go up to their rooms and do one-on-one with them.
Hmm.
But the core is really teaching the young people to have a level of compassion,
Hmm.
teaching them the importance of intergenerational programs and how to interact with seniors who have physical and cognitive disabilities. And then we get into more curriculum components with the educational, recreational, social activities.
It's so important. I love that. It's so important that in anything that we empower youth is to really giving them an understanding of a situation, or everybody's going to get old. Nobody's going to escape that. We have a time on this planet, and we want to make the best of it.
Yeah.
And if you keep people separated and they don't truly understand what's going on, they can't serve.
Right.
But I have heard lots of stories. Matter of fact, I had a hernia operation, or not operation, yeah, hernia. And so I had one of the caretakers here, and there was a gentleman named Joseph, and he was an engineering student in KSU. And he was like, I was like crazy that somebody young would be in that position to serve. And Louisa would say, like, people would be requesting him, like, John wants him back, Joe wants him back, because here is somebody young that truly understands how to serve. And it was like an immediate connection. And so, because we're used to seeing not the younger people engaging on that level. So what is it kind of, when you are like reaching out to the youth to explain what's going on, how do you help them understand the empowerment process? Because I'm sure you're talking through before they have a chance to engage. What are you saying to kind of communicate with our youth that this is something that's really important?
Well, I think the first thing, Pete, is relatability. Um, Teaching the young people that you better hope you're blessed, fortunate enough to get to this age. Number two, these same older people that you may be standoffish about in the beginning are the same individuals who've been in your shoes. They've been 10 years old before. They've been 12. They've been 15. They've been they've been 18, right? So they've been in your shoes before. So the relatability component is what we try to convey. Number one, and then number two, we also try to incorporate themes with our program, themes that are relatable with both generations. So what I mean by that is that 1 week we may focus on health, right, and nutrition. And we may just do fun activities around, what are some good foods to eat. And we have both generations talking about that. And then the young people start to realize, oh man, you like grapes? I love grapes. You like, so, if that relatability is there, you have, giving seniors the opportunity to kind of be mentors as well too, because when a young person finds out that they can relate to that older person, they're more prone to listen.
Yes.
And seniors can share more wisdom. And so, if you find out that there's for instance, we deal with a lot of veterans, and then you may have some young people who are interested in going into the military. You have teachers, you have various business professionals who are now in these senior facilities, and young people can now, get something from that through the relatability concept. So,
Wow. Father Seymour, you're out there because I'm going to be connected. He has a podcast, or he has a ministry,
Okay.
The Father in Me. And so
Wow.
he was touched years ago when he was coaching, and he saw the youth needed leadership in a family. And so he stepped in and started serving, and now he's in Atlanta, and he's crushing it with really connecting with youth, because we all need purpose, no matter if you're young or old. And when you put the two together, like you are doing with your nonprofit, you're enabling people to be understanding of the benefits of wisdom, because we only get wisdom from living our life.
Mm-hmm.
And so at 15, I think about what I was like at 15, and yeah, it was a train wreck. I would have loved to been able to be around somebody a lot older. I mean, we have our parents, but we look to others as that third party credibility, whatever they say, that even though like the mom or dad will say something, it's like this other person a stranger mentions something, they go, "Hey, look, Mom, I learned this." Well, I've been telling you that for about 15 years. Yeah. But we just see it from a different filter. And it's so good that you're outside the normal family unit to be able to have somebody like yourself who's doing it each day, that's, putting that bridge together, and I love changing generations, because if we don't bring our youth together with our seniors, we have a gap there.
Right.
And that gap is not good, because it's not good for the youth and it's not good for the seniors, because the youth need the wisdom, the seniors need the youth. And so both need each other. So you're intentional about it. What would you say, like, what has been your biggest challenge that when this is obviously a game changer? I've never heard anything so needed out there.
Mm-hmm.
What's your challenge that you face out there in building the nonprofit part of your business?
I think it's the challenge is twofold. The first side of the challenge is people really understanding the concept because it's foreign. Example, people are used to food drives. People are used to back to school drives. That's relatable. That's something that's easily you can conceptualize that. When you say, okay, I'm going to take a young person and teach them how to care for a senior, and they're going into these nursing home, for an example, an assisted living facility. And it's not just volunteer, come for 1 month and then you don't see him again. I mean, there's a consistent constructed program teaching youth these leadership skills and communication skills. That's unique to people, because you rarely hear about that. I mean, there are models out there in the world, where intergenerational models, where you have a senior living facility, so to speak, with like a daycare in there with infants and stuff, but an actual model that's taking young children from the age of 8 years old all the way up to 22 years old, when they're up in college, and giving them opportunities to develop these skills and interact with older adults is unique. So that's the first fold. Second fold is financial. Because of the uniqueness of the program, there's not it's kind of like that trailblazer, so to speak. If there's not an organization out there that's proven that this model was beneficial or works, so to speak, and funders have already seen this and already donated to it, so to speak, then it kind of it stagnates the funding component for us, in terms of us being unique and having to develop the model to show the world that, hey, this actually works. And we're doing the best we can to gather data. One of the things I was fortunate to do as I was completing my master's degree in healthcare administration, I actually did a capstone project on the intergenerational health disparities, and how our socioeconomic backgrounds, our race, our religion backgrounds, our environments, how they affect us, impact us as young people, and that actually will trickle towards when we get older. And so if we come from an environment where education isn't the best. We didn't have the best health resources, or we didn't have the, we were growing up in, gangs or drugs in neighborhoods, or even just in a family where there's abuse or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
Those various traumas and that lack of resources affect our health outcomes as we get older. And studies have been done that actually shown that older adults are more prone to, enter long-term care at an earlier age if they came from, environments that had, extreme health disparities as a young
Hmm.
person. Even as an infant, what goes inside your mother's body, the environment you're around, you feel that, right? And when you come out as a small child, you actually absorb all of that. And if it's
Hmm.
not good stuff, it can lead to poor health outcomes.
Right.
And so studying that and then kind of incorporating that within our program is so unique. We're kind of sort of trailblazing that way. And so we're hoping that people can really understand our story. There's a lot of content that we have out there on our social medias, on our
Hmm.
website, that really gives a lot of backdrop, physical backdrop, tangible backdrop as to the impact that we're having on young people and older people. We're just hoping to get that support financially to help us grow.
Wow. That I love it. And I don't know if you were this was about a month ago, but the Family Advocacy Center, which is over on I think it's Fairgrounds. The DA of Cobb County spoke at our meeting.
Yes.
Were
Yes.
you there?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The DA Cochran. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I understand.
So I was asking him about like if the one thing he would want to do, and he talked about early trauma. And so when you look at the environment that some people grow up in and the trauma, what you're just saying, whether it's economics, whether it's health, all that forms who we are. So if we are who we associate with, so if we can't change that and put a more positive mindset in a person that has been around this environment their whole life, that's all they know.
Right.
And so that's going to have a bearing on what happens from one generation to the other,
Right.
until you change that. And so, it's nothing big like you're describing is easy. I mean, it's like what we were chatting before we went on, is like you have your big established charities, your St. Jude's, your boys and girls club. You have the big ones that they get plenty of money, and it's good money.
Yeah.
But corporations look at that like, okay, this is a safe bet. I can put money in this. I know I can show our stockholders that we gave money to this organization. But when we have an organization like yourself that's on the rise, you're not in the money, I call, circle. And it's like, you're going to get there.
Yeah.
But until you get there, you need money.
Right.
It's like, hey, look, you can't go to Publix and go, hey, I'm doing something good. Can I get my groceries for free today?
Right.
They go, yeah, thank you for doing something good, but we take cash.
That's
Right.
right.
It's like, and if you have Bitcoin, we'll take that too.
Right.
But in all seriousness, it's getting new ideas like yourself, more people to see the difference you're making, not only in the youth, but in the senior community, and putting that bridge together is so important. So what can our viewers, I always like to challenge our viewers. All right, I want you to first speak to my youth.
Okay.
Okay, you're 15 years old and you've never been really exposed to seniors. What could you talk to my 15-year-old about why they need to get a hold of you?
Well, first thing is I would say to a 15-year-old is wisdom. You need wisdom, you need knowledge, you need assistance to help you on this journey in life. And working with older adults or working with an organization like One Change at a Time gives you a little bit of that blueprint. Of course, in life, we have our own roads. We're going to make that left turn, we're going to make that right turn. But at least we can have some sort of map that can give us, an idea how we can get to our destination. And we assist them with that. And working with older adults, you get that wisdom. But working with our organization, you're going to learn various important skills that
Mhm.
can assist you in your educational and career endeavors, such as communication skills. When you're
Mhm.
able to now work with a team and you understand teamwork, all right, leadership skills, because we're going to be actually helping you develop to the point where you can actually conduct and lead a program of seniors and youth yourself. So I think that those things are important. That wisdom and then learning those key skills that can assist them in their future endeavors is important. And that's what I would tell a 15-year-old.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. That was for the youth. So I want you to share this with people that you think can benefit from hearing what Leonard just shared, because the best kept secret is not good. We don't want to be the best kept secret.
That's
We
right.
want to be people knowing what the leadership skills are so important in everything you do. You have to develop that. You're not born a leader. It's developed. So wisdom, you're not born, with all this wisdom. Wisdom comes with, being around the right people, learning the right things. So that's so important. So definitely share it. Now I have this one. The next question is, I want you to speak, and I'll describe what I mean. There was a gentleman, he's 94 and he lived here, and we talked about like the generational wealth. The worst thing that you can do, and it's back to the lotto mentality.
Yeah.
When you give somebody money, like you win the lotto, it's like proven.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. It's a curse.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, somebody that's not ready gets all this money. They don't know what to do with it, and their lives just go down the tank.
Yeah.
Same thing happens with we want to say, oh, well, we want to give our kids our inheritance.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is give them all this. What you want to give them is wisdom, relationships, and knowledge. Money is all jacked up because I've seen things where the money, well, I had a person on last week and we were talking about trust. How much, when somebody doesn't communicate what's going to go on from one generation to the other, kids will think, oh, granddad didn't love me because he didn't give me any money.
Oh.
And it's like, not the case, but he didn't want to curse you with money that would possibly make a difference in how you would live. But if you're giving your youth or your kids knowledge and wisdom, that's the most important thing. So here's my point. If you're a senior out there and you're thinking, well, do I give my kids money or do I give them lessons? I want you to think about lessons, and I want you to think about the money that you have. I want you to set it right here.
Yeah.
Right here. Let me try to think. Yeah. Right there. Okay. So that way the money gets used to help bridge our youth with our seniors. And you can feel good that filling your heart with something that you're making a difference. So that way you're not just jacking up the next generation with crazy wealth that they don't know how to handle. Yeah. You're putting in the hands of an organization like, let me put it up on the screen here. One change at a time.
Yes.
And so you have the choice to put your resources that you've worked hard and you've accumulated to the best use that you can possibly put. So I want to encourage you, not only if you're listening to this, I want you to share this with people. Share this with people that don't know what Leonard's doing, don't have any idea that an organization like this, grassroots, is empowering our youth. And when you think about it, empowering the youth to help us seniors. I mean, that's like, now, Leonard, you can tell he's not a senior, but I am. And I got plenty of gray hair, and I got plenty of, being around seniors and seeing how beautiful it is. So I want to encourage you, like, come on, let's step up and let's get some resources, because we can't go to Publix and buy groceries on an IOU, or, hey, eventually this thing's going to be bigger and I'm going to have the resources, but until then we don't. So I want to encourage our seniors to support Leonard and his organization and provide it. So so you look at here's the email address. You can go to onechangeatatime.org. And so you can get a hold of Leonard. You can talk to him. I'm sure on there's a donation. There's something. Is there anything on there that our people can take advantage of?
There's a donate button right at the top.
Okay.
Of our website. Even we're on social media, we're everywhere. I mean, on Instagram at @1_change at a time, and on Facebook at One Change at a Time. And each of our social media accounts have donate buttons there. We are verified by those social media outlets, so we are vetted, we're certified. We are looking for that support. And it's funny you say that. I want to piggyback off of something you brought up in terms of emphasizing to our seniors the importance of having the young people, care for our seniors, because I'm in the healthcare industry. Having One Change at a Time as a nonprofit organization and working in long-term care for all the years I have, and then having a home care agency as well too. What we are seeing in the healthcare industry is what? A lack of staffing. Right. So, and that's on all levels, whether you're talking about in geriatrics, pediatrics, whether you're talking about in hospitals, it doesn't matter what the format is. It's a lack of staffing and a lack of healthcare providers and people out there to give that help to our seniors or those with disabilities. Right. So if we're able to give them an opportunity, young people an opportunity to be introduced to through volunteering, through spending time around seniors or those with disabilities and learning more about that relatability part that we talked about earlier, I think that will spark some interest in some of our young people to say, you know what, maybe I want to kind of get my foot into this healthcare thing, and maybe become a nurse or become a LPN, become a doctor, become a nurse practitioner, become a CNA, whatever the case may be, wherever their aspirations are, or maybe own their own healthcare or business. But it will definitely spark that interest, and that will leave another journey or pathway for a young person to care for our older adults. So.
Wow, I like that. Let me ask you this. I don't know the answer, so I'm going to ask it. I was at a Rotary orientation last night, and the lady that was hosting it said, hey, I have a person that she had been serving in a different capacity with seniors, and now that person had passed. So she was like, I really want to serve. Do you, like, on the scene, like if somebody is a senior, do you have somebody that can come alongside to teach our youth? Would that be a need out there, that if a senior is like even working and they want to give back, do you have places within, One Change at a Time that the older people can come into the nonprofit and be a part of it?
Great question. And we are volunteering, although the structure of our program, Bridging Generations, is the youth and seniors and teaching youth how to care for seniors. We have an opportunity for seniors and older adults out there to be a part of our organization, to volunteer, to be mentors. So it's just because the program is described in the way that we've been describing it throughout this podcast, it doesn't limit anyone of any age of becoming a part of One Change at a Time, because One Change at a Time is the organization. The program Bridging Generations is just a program. And so we have ample opportunities for older adults to be a part of what we're doing. That's real.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll put you in touch with that lady, because she had asked me if there was a way that she could serve, because she obviously had served her husband and he had passed, and she still wanted to do it, to be, because hey, you always, when you're in the shoes of a person and you understand that compassion and you see that, and her husband had passed of Alzheimer's. So that's I've seen it. It's the ugliest thing I've ever, it's just, when you lose that, it's just so sad. But that quality of life, those last few years, if that's the case, is so important. Yes. I want you to, I got my brain is ping ponging back and forth. And I got all kinds of ideas,
Yeah.
but tell our viewers, because I really want you to stay and do your business, your normal business. So we'll see if we can do that.
Okay.
But what would you want our viewers, the one thing you would want them to take home with our time with you today? What would that be?
That would be the importance of understanding the human connection. That's been lost nowadays. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that, we've been talking all day, well, on this podcast this whole time about youth and seniors and bringing them together intergenerational. And that is the important part of this conversation today. However, I think the most important thing I want listeners or viewers to leave with is the human connection. And we cannot forget that. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how over the past decade plus, I would say the past 20 years, we've seen less and less physical interaction. We've seen our younger generations become more prone to being down on that phone or on those video games, on the social media, and not even knowing how to greet a person,
Mhm.
not even knowing how to. I was in Walmart the other day,
Mhm.
grabbing some items, and so the register I was at Walmart, the actual credit card reader was having an error. So the gentleman, who was an older gentleman at the front door, the kind of greeter, so to
Mhm.
speak,
Yeah.
he recognized that I was waiting on one of the assistants to come over. And one of the assistants was, a young man, probably 17, 18, maybe early 20s, just a younger, definitely
Mhm.
younger gentleman. And he was socializing, right, with a coworker. The older gentleman got his attention. And so he came over. And the young man came over to me, and he just came over. I said, "Hey, this doesn't seem like the credit card reader is recognizing my card or whatnot." He didn't say one word to me. He didn't
Really?
say, "Hey, how you doing today, sir?" Or "I apologize." He just put his code in, printed the ticket out, took it to another one, scanned the ticket so my items can pop up there and I can pay on the other machine. And I stopped him. I said, "Young man, my name's Leonard. What's your name?" I forget his name.
Mhm.
And then I said, "Listen," I said, "you're in the customer service business. I know you're young, so I'm just giving you some advice. When you walk up to a customer, greet them, interact
Mhm.
with them." See,
Yes.
that's just one example of that human connection being
Yes.
lost because of the digital aspect. And social
Yes.
media and digital, we're on a
Yep.
digital wave right now. So it's useful, it has its place, but we don't want the human connection to get
Right.
lost. So that's the biggest thing I want us to be able to leave with, whether we're dealing with young people with older adults, or with older adults with older adults, or young people with young people. Let's not forget that we're humans.
Yep.
Let's not allow these other distractions to get in our way of, greeting someone or holding a door when you see someone coming in with a lot of
Yep.
bags, or getting out the seat when you see one of your elders coming in and they need to have a seat to sit down.
Mhm.
Just some of those core values of the human connection I don't want us to forget.
Very, very important.
Yes, sir.
And I love that story because if we don't bring it to the attention of somebody,
Yeah.
it's not like they think they're doing anything wrong. That's just the way they've been trained.
Yeah.
And it's until you bring that attention to the
Yeah.
human element of everything is customer service. We have a gentleman, Jim Raps, he does a commercial connector.
Mhm.
And we talk about just being able to, when you say, "I'll call you back tomorrow,"
Mhm.
you do it.
Yeah.
When I tell you I'm going to be there at 2:00, you're there.
Yeah.
And he just told the story of somebody that said they'll be there at 11:00. Well, an hour and a half after that, he calls and said he got delayed, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every excuse is equal. I mean, I can come up with. I've had people go, "Hey, I got stuck in
That's a good
traffic.
one, by the way.
I got stuck in traffic." I said, "Oh, really? Oh, how long have you lived in Atlanta? I mean, we have traffic. I mean, it's not like we don't have traffic."
That's
But
very true.
everybody comes up with these crazy
That's very true.
excuses, and I'm going
Very
like,
true.
"Okay, what's your excuse?" But the point is, common sense is not always common practice.
Right.
You do that. You think like to come up and say hello, to greet you, to say, "Can I help you?" and to talk with you
Right.
is like the common thing to do, but it isn't.
It isn't.
It's like the
It isn't.
lost art of the human connection. And I think bringing it back like you're doing with connecting, empowering the youth to better serve our seniors, and how that benefit can come circling back to the youth.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful. So I'm gonna I've got so many things. I'm going to be writing down a bunch of things after this, because my brain's going, my ADD brain is hitting on overdrive here with some good thoughts of what you challenged our viewers and myself with. So Leonard, thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Pete.
And absolutely, please share this
Please.
with people that you think could hear this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.